Captain Jiho Park stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, watching the stars through the main window. The ship was huge, 12 kilometers long and 4 kilometers wide. It had been built to eat asteroids and turn them into metal. Now it carried weapons that could barely scratch a real warship. "Captain," said Dr. Yoonji Lee, looking up from her computer. "We have visitors." 3 strange ships appeared on the screen. They were small, maybe half a kilometer each. They had smooth curves and bright lights. They looked nothing like human ships. "First contact," whispered Ambassador Minho Kim. He had been waiting for this day his whole life. "After all these years, we finally meet aliens." Jiho pressed a button. "This is Captain Jiho Park of the Earth vessel Horizon's Edge. Please identify yourselves." The alien ship stopped moving. For a long time, nothing happened. Then a voice came through the speakers. It sounded like music mixed with grinding metal. "Greetings, massive warship of the unknown species. We are scouts from the Galactic Coalition. We come in peace to your system." Jiho looked at his crew. They all looked confused. Massive warship. The Horizon's Edge was big, but it was just a mining ship. It had some small guns to shoot space rocks, but that was all. "We also come in peace," Jiho said. "Welcome to our system. We call it Sol." On the alien ship, Commander Thek stared at his screens. The human vessel was enormous. It was bigger than most Coalition battle cruisers. The energy readings were off. The charts. What kind of weapons could produce such power? "Sir," said his science officer, "the ship appears to be some kind of industrial vessel. But the size, it must be their finest warship." Thek nodded. "Any species that builds ships this large must be very advanced. We should be careful." Back on the Horizon's Edge, Dr. Yoonji was studying the alien ships. "They're beautiful," she said. "Look at their design. So smooth, so perfect." "They're also scanning us," said engineer Do-hyun Lim from his station. "Full spectrum analysis. They really want to know what we are." Ambassador Minho stepped forward. "Captain, may I speak to them?" Jiho nodded. "Go ahead." Minho cleared his throat. "Alien vessels, I am Ambassador Minho Kim of Earth. We are humans. We have been waiting to meet other intelligent life for many years." "Humans," repeated the alien voice. "We have never heard of your species. You are not in our databases. How long have you had space travel?" "We have been traveling in our own system for about 400 years, Minho said. "But this is our first contact with another species." The aliens went quiet again. Commander Thek was thinking hard. A species that could build ships this size after only 400 years of space travel? That was impossible. Most species took thousands of years to build such vessels. "Honored humans," Thek said finally. "We would like to invite one of your representatives to visit our coalition capital. We believe your species would be a valuable addition to our alliance." Admiral Hyunwoo Choi entered the bridge. He was the commander of Earth's entire space fleet. All 57 ships answered to him. Most of them were cargo haulers and mining vessels like the Horizon's Edge. "What's our status, Captain?" he asked. "First contact, sir. They want to invite us to their capital." Hyunwoo looked at the alien ships on the screen. They were so small. Pretty, but small. "Do we know how advanced they are?" "Not yet, sir, but they seem peaceful." "Good. Ambassador Kim, are you ready for the trip of a lifetime?" Minho smiled. "I've been ready since I was 5 years old, sir." Dr. Yoonji was recording everything. "This is amazing," she said. "Look at their ship design. The way they move. They must have technology we can't even imagine." On the alien ship, Thek was having the same thoughts about humans. The massive vessel before him had to be using technology beyond Coalition understanding. How else could something so large move so smoothly through space? "Sir," said his weapons officer, "I'm not detecting any weapon signatures." "What do you mean?" "The ship has no visible weapons. No laser ports, no missile tubes, nothing." Thek felt a chill. Invisible weapons. They must have technology that makes their weapons undetectable. This species is more dangerous than we thought. The truth was much simpler. The Horizon's Edge had mining lasers that could cut through asteroids. It had cargo manipulators that could move huge chunks of rock. It had industrial equipment that could process tons of metal per hour. But it had almost no real weapons. "Ambassador Kim," Tech said, "we will send a small shuttle to bring you to our ship. From there we will travel to the coalition capital." "I'm honored," Minho replied. As the alien shuttle approached, Engineer Do-Yun laughed quietly. "They think we're a warship. Should we tell them the truth?" asked Dr. Yunji. Captain Jiho thought about it. "Not yet. Let's see what they want first." The shuttle docked with the Horizon's Edge. It was tiny compared to the human ship. Ambassador Minho walked through the airlock with 2 guards. The aliens inside were tall and thin, with 4 arms and large eyes. "Welcome aboard," said one of the aliens. "I am Commander Thek. We are honored to meet such a powerful species." Minho looked confused. "Powerful? Your warship is magnificent. The largest we have ever seen. Your weapons technology must be very advanced." Minho decided not to correct them. Not yet. As they traveled toward the coalition capital, Thek showed Minho around their ship. It was small but efficient. Every surface was smooth and clean. The technology was clearly advanced. "How many ships does your fleet have?" Thek asked. "About 57 vessels," Minho said. Thek gasped. "All as large as your flagship?" "Some are larger," Minho said truthfully. The New Horizon was 15 kilometers long. Thek felt sick. 57 ships, all larger than coalition battlecruisers? This species could destroy entire star systems. Back on Earth, Admiral Hyunwoo was meeting with the Earth Council. "The aliens think we're a military power," he reported. "They're treating us with great respect." "Should we correct their mistake?" asked President Dong-hyuk Shin. "Not yet. Let's see where this goes. If they think we're strong, they might offer us better terms." Meanwhile, the Horizon's Edge continued its patrol of the outer system. Other human ships went about their business. Cargo haulers moved supplies between planets. Construction ships built new space stations. Mining vessels harvested asteroids. To human eyes, it was normal space traffic. To alien eyes watching from hidden sensors, it looked like the largest fleet of warships in the galaxy. Dr. Yunji was still studying the recordings of the alien ships. "Their technology is different from ours," she told Captain Jiho. "More elegant, but not necessarily more advanced." "What do you mean?" "We build big and strong. They build small and efficient. Different approaches to the same problems." Jiho nodded. "Maybe that's why they think we're so dangerous. They've never seen anyone build ships as large as ours." As ambassador, Minho traveled deeper into alien space. He began to understand the truth. The galaxy was full of small, careful civilizations. They built only what they needed. They were efficient and precise. Humans were different. They built big. They built tough. They built to last forever and carry anything anywhere. To the aliens, this looked like the technology of conquerors. To humans, it was just the way they did things. The misunderstanding was complete, and it would change the galaxy forever. As it flew toward the coalition capital, the journey would take 3 days. He spent the time learning about the galaxy and its many species. "There are over 200 civilizations in the coalition," Commander Thek explained. "Some are old and wise. Others are young and eager, all work together for peace." Minho nodded. "That sounds wonderful. Earth would be honored to join such an alliance." Thek looked nervous. "Of course, new members must prove they can help keep peace. Your species seems very capable." Back on Earth, Captain Do-Hyun Lim was preparing his ship for a special mission. The Swift Arrow was the fastest ship in the human fleet. It carried mail and messages between planets. The ship was small, only 200 meters long, but it could fly faster than anything else humans had built. "Do-Hyun," said Admiral So Min-yoon over the radio, "we need you to follow Ambassador Minho. Make sure he's safe." "Yes, ma'am." The Swift Arrow is ready to go. Admiral Soman commanded Earth's actual military fleet. She had 12 real warships under her command. They were fast and well-armed, but they were tiny compared to the mining ships and cargo haulers. "Be careful out there," she told Do-hyun. "We don't know what we're dealing with yet." The Swift Arrow launched from Earth orbit. It was sleek and silver, built for speed above all else. Do-hyun pushed the engines to full power and raced after the Bao alien shuttle. Meanwhile, at the coalition capital, Counselor Nari Jung was studying reports about the humans. She was the coalition's top military expert. Her job was to understand new threats. "This is very strange," she told her assistants. "The human vessel is enormous, but we can't find any weapons." "Maybe they don't have weapons," suggested one assistant. Nari shook her head. "No species builds ships that large without weapons. They must have technology we can't detect." The coalition capital was a massive space station orbiting a blue star. Ships from hundreds of worlds docked there every day. Most were small and efficient, like everything the coalition built. When the shuttle carrying Ambassador Minho arrived, crowds gathered to see the human representative. Word had spread quickly about the giant human warship. "He looks so normal," whispered one alien to another. "Hard to believe his species builds such monsters." Minho stepped off the shuttle and looked around in wonder. The station was beautiful. Everything was curved and smooth. Lights danced along the walls like living things. "Welcome to Unity Station," Commander Thek said. "Home to the Coalition Council." As they walked through the corridors, other aliens stared at Minho. Some looked curious, others looked afraid. All of them whispered about the massive human ship that waited in their home system. 3 hours later, Captain Do-hyun arrived in the Swift Arrow. He requested permission to dock, just like any other visitor. In the Coalition control room, alarms started ringing. "What's happening?" demanded the station commander. "Unknown vessel approaching. It's moving impossibly fast." The station commander looked at his screens. The human ship was small, but it was flying at speeds that should have torn it apart. Their best interceptor ships couldn't match that velocity. "Is it attacking?" "No, sir. It's requesting permission to dock. Says it's carrying mail for their ambassador." The commander felt dizzy. "Mail? They sent a ship that fast just to deliver mail?" Captain Do-hyun had no idea he was causing panic. To him, this was a normal mail run. A little longer than usual, but nothing special. The Swift Arrow had made thousands of similar trips. "This is Captain Do-hyun Lim of the Earth vessel Swift Arrow," he said over the radio. "I have messages for Ambassador Minho Kim, requesting permission to dock." The station commander granted permission. He was too shocked to do anything else. As the Swift Arrow docked, Counselor Nari rushed to see it. The ship was small and sleek. It didn't look like much, but the speed readings were incredible. "How fast can it go?" she asked her assistants. "Our instruments say it reached 0.95 light speed. That's impossible for a ship that size." Nari felt cold. If this was just a courier ship, what could their real warships do? Captain Do-hyun met with Ambassador Minho in a private room. He handed over a data pad with messages from Earth. "How are things going?" Do-hyun asked. "Very well. They want to invite Earth to join their coalition. They seem to respect our technology." Do-hyun laughed. "What technology? The Horizon's Edge is just a mining ship." "I know. But they think it's a battleship. Should I tell them the truth?" "Maybe not yet. Let's see what they offer first." Unknown to them, coalition spies were listening to everything. When they heard the humans call their massive vessel just a mining ship, they nearly fainted. "If that's a mining ship," one spy whispered to another, "what do their real warships look like?" Counselor Nari was preparing a report for the Coalition Council. She had spent hours studying the human ships and their impossible capabilities. Humans have at least 57 vessels," she wrote. "All are larger than our biggest battleships. Their courier ships are faster than our interceptors. Their mining ships are bigger than our space stations." She paused, thinking about what to write next. "Most concerning, they claim these are civilian vessels. If their civilian ships are this advanced, their military fleet must be beyond our understanding." The next day, Ambassador Minho was brought before the Coalition Council. Representatives, From 200 worlds sat in a great circular chamber. All eyes were on the lone human. "Ambassador Kim," said the council speaker, "we have studied reports of your species. Your technology is very impressive." "Thank you," Minho replied. "Earth is always happy to share knowledge with friends." The council speaker looked nervous. "Yes, well, the coalition values peaceful species. We believe Earth would make an excellent member." Minho smiled. "That's wonderful news. Of course, as a major power, Earth would receive full membership immediately. No probation period, full voting rights, access to all coalition technology." Other ambassadors gasped. Full membership was usually granted only after decades of proving trustworthiness, but the council was afraid to insult the humans. Back on Earth, Admiral Somin was reading reports from her spy network. The coalition had dozens of member species, but most of their ships were tiny. Their biggest warships were smaller than human cargo haulers. "This is interesting," she told her staff. "They're advanced, but they think small. We think big. They're interpreting our size as military power. Should we correct them?" asked her aide. "Not yet. Let's see how this plays out." On Unity Station, Captain Do-hyun was preparing to return to Earth. His mail delivery mission was complete. As he walked to his ship, Coalition citizens stared at him in fear and wonder. "Is it true your ship can outrun our fastest interceptors?" asked a young alien. Do-hyun shrugged. "The Swift Arrow is pretty fast, but it's just a mail ship. We have much faster vessels for emergencies." The alien's eyes went wide. The human had just casually mentioned having ships even faster than their incredible courier vessel. As Do-hyun flew back toward Earth, Coalition intelligence officers tracked his every move. The small ship accelerated to impossible speeds and disappeared into hyperspace. "Report to Counselor Nari immediately," ordered the intelligence chief. "The humans have just revealed they have ships faster than their courier vessels." Nari read the report with growing alarm. If the human mail ship could reach 0.95 light speed, how fast were their emergency vessels? How fast were their warships? She began writing an urgent memo to the Coalition Defense Committee. Immediate recommendation: grant humans full coalition membership with maximum honors. Do not, under any circumstances, anger this species. Their civilian fleet alone could destroy our entire military. Meanwhile, aboard the Horizon's Edge, Captain Jiho was watching his crew repair a mining laser. The tool had overheated while cutting up an asteroid. It was basic maintenance, nothing special. He had no idea that Coalition spies were watching through hidden sensors. To them, it looked like the humans were upgrading their invisible weapon systems. The misunderstanding was growing larger every day. The Coalition feared Earth's massive ships and mysterious technology. Earth's leaders were starting to realize their mistake, but they didn't know how to fix it without causing problems. Ambassador Minho was still at the Coalition capital, learning about galactic politics. Every day he discovered new reasons why the Coalition respected and feared his species. Every day, the truth became harder to tell, and every day, the galaxy became more convinced that Earth was the most dangerous civilization they had ever encountered. The humans, meanwhile, just kept doing what they always did. They built big ships. They mined asteroids. They carried cargo across the solar system. They had no idea they were terrifying an entire galaxy simply by being themselves. 3 weeks after first contact, Earth was officially invited to join the Galactic Coalition. The ceremony was held on Unity Station, and Ambassador Minho Kim signed the papers with great pride. "Earth is now a full member," announced the Council Speaker. "We welcome humanity to our alliance of peace." The other ambassadors clapped politely, but many looked nervous. They had all heard stories about the massive human warships and their impossible technology. Back on Earth, President Dong-hyuk Shin was meeting with his advisors. General Jae-won Han, Earth's top military leader, was explaining the situation. "Sir, they think our cargo ships are battleships. They think our mail runners are super-fast scouts. They're offering us technology and trade deals because they're afraid of us." President Shin rubbed his forehead. "This is getting complicated. Should we tell them the truth?" "Not yet," said General Jae-won. Some of these coalition species are genuinely dangerous. If they find out we're not as strong as they think, they might attack us. Meanwhile, the coalition was making requests. They wanted to see human technology demonstrations. They wanted cultural exchanges. They wanted to learn from Earth's advanced military engineering. Diplomat Sun Mi Quan was put in charge of these exchanges. Her job was to show off human technology without revealing that it wasn't actually military technology. "This should be interesting," she said to her assistant. The first demonstration was scheduled for the following month. Coalition representatives would visit Earth to see human defensive capabilities in action. Engineer Taehyun Seo was working on a construction project near Mars. His team was building a new space station using massive robot suits. The suits were 12 meters tall and could lift entire building sections. "Taehyun," called Diplomat Sunmi over the radio, "we need your help with something." "What's that?" "We're having visitors, coalition representatives. They want to see our military technology in action." Taehyun laughed. "Military technology? I build space stations." "I know. But they don't know that. Can you put on a demonstration with your construction mechs?" "Sure, I guess." "What kind of demonstration?" "Something impressive. Show them how strong your robots are." A week later, 3 coalition ships arrived at Mars. They were filled with military observers and scientists. All of them wanted to see the famous human combat technology. Engineer Taehyun met them at the viewing platform. His construction mechs were lined up in formation. Each robot was massive, built to handle the toughest construction jobs in space. "Welcome to our demonstration," Sunmi said to the alien visitors. "Today you'll see our defensive equipment in action." The coalition observers watched with growing amazement as Taehyun's mechs went to work. The robots picked up huge metal beams like they were toys. They twisted steel girders into complicated shapes. They assembled an entire building section in under an hour. "Incredible," whispered one alien observer. "Those combat suits are more powerful than our heavy tanks." "And so precise," said another. "Look how carefully they handle those components. Their weapon systems must be extremely advanced." Taehyun heard the comments through his radio. He almost laughed out loud. The aliens thought his construction robots were combat mechs. They thought building a space station was a weapons demonstration. "What's their maximum combat range?" asked a coalition general. Sunmi thought quickly. "They can operate anywhere in the solar system. Distance is no problem." This was true. The construction mechs often worked on projects near Jupiter or Saturn. But the aliens interpreted it as meaning the combat suits could fight anywhere. After the demonstration, the coalition representatives were very quiet. They had just watched human soldiers in power armor perform feats that seemed impossible. Captain Yuna Oh was having her own problems. She commanded the research vessel Deep Explorer. The ship was designed to study dangerous things like black holes and neutron stars. It had special shields and exotic matter containers. "Captain," said her science officer, "we have visitors." A coalition patrol had found the Deep Explorer near a pulsar. The human ship was taking measurements and collecting data. To the aliens, it looked like something much more dangerous. "Unknown human vessel," called the coalition patrol leader. "Please identify your mission." "This is Captain Yuna Oh of the research ship Deep Explorer. We're studying the pulsar." The coalition ships kept their distance. They had detected massive energy readings from the human vessel. The exotic matter containment systems were producing signatures they had never seen before. "Captain O," said the patrol leader nervously, "your ship is emitting unknown energy patterns. Are you conducting weapons tests?" Yuna looked confused. "Weapons tests? No, we're just studying stellar phenomena. This is a science ship." The coalition patrol leader felt sick. If this was a science ship, it was more advanced than anything in their fleet. The energy readings suggested technology beyond their understanding. "Of course," he said quickly. "Please continue your research." As the coalition ships flew away, their crews were already sending reports back to headquarters. The humans had deployed another mysterious vessel. This one seemed to be conducting experiments with exotic matter and dangerous energies. Back on Unity Station, Counselor Nari was reviewing these reports with growing alarm. First, they show us combat mechs that can build space stations, she said, to her staff. Now they have research ships that play with black hole technology. What's next? Her question was answered the next day. A Coalition science vessel had encountered another human ship near Neptune. This one was even more mysterious. The ship was called the Voidwalker. It belonged to Dr. Haeun Park, a physicist who studied dark matter. Her vessel could create small artificial gravity fields and manipulate space-time on a tiny scale. This is fascinating, Dr. Haeun said to her team as they conducted their experiments. Look at these readings. We're actually bending space. The Coalition science ship watched from a safe distance. Their instruments were going crazy. The human vessel seemed to be warping reality itself. Are they weaponizing space-time? Asked the Coalition science officer. It looks that way, replied his captain. We need to report this immediately. Dr. Haeun had no idea she was causing another panic. To her, this was just another day of research. She was studying the basic forces of the universe, trying to understand how reality worked. To the Coalition, it looked like humans were developing the ultimate weapon. General Jaewon was reading these reports in his office on Earth. Each new encounter made the situation more complicated. Sir, said his aide, the Coalition is requesting more demonstrations. They want to see our fleet exercises. Fleet exercises? We don't do fleet exercises. Our ships are too busy working. I know, sir. But they think our cargo haulers are battleships. Maybe we could arrange something? Jaewon thought about it. Get me Admiral Hyunwoo. We need to plan something that looks military, but won't reveal the truth. Meanwhile, smaller Coalition species were starting to ask Earth for protection. They had heard about humanity's incredible technology and massive fleet. The humans seem peaceful, said one alien ambassador to another. But they're so powerful. Maybe they could help us with our pirate problem. Good idea. Better to have them, as friends than enemies. These requests were reaching Earth daily. Species were offering trade deals, technology exchanges, and mutual defense pacts, all because they thought Earth had the strongest military in the galaxy. President Shin was getting worried. We're in too deep, he told his cabinet. If we can't deliver on these expectations, we'll look weak. But if we try to fake military strength, someone might call our bluff. There's another problem, said General Jaewon. Some Coalition species are genuinely hostile. They're starting to see us as a threat. If they unite against us, then we need to be ready, said Admiral Sumin. My 12 warships won't be enough if this goes bad. Engineer Taehyun was back at work on his construction project. The space station was taking shape nicely. His mechs worked day and night, building humanity's future in space. He didn't know that Coalition spies were watching his every move. To them, it looked like humans were building a fortress. The defensive installation was bigger than most Coalition battle stations. Captain Yuna was still studying pulsars. Her research was going well. She had discovered 3 new types of stellar phenomena in the past month. She didn't know that Coalition scientists thought she was testing superweapons. They believed humans had learned to harness the power of dying stars. Dr. Haeun was making breakthrough discoveries about dark matter. Her experiments were revealing secrets about the fundamental structure of the universe. She didn't know that Coalition military analysts thought she was building reality-warping weapons that could destroy entire star systems. The misunderstanding was growing out of control. Every innocent human activity was interpreted as a military demonstration. Every scientific discovery was seen as weapons research, and the galaxy was becoming more afraid of Earth with each passing day. The trouble started when Admiral Seungmin Kang arrived at Earth with a Coalition fleet. He commanded the 3rd Defense Fleet, one of the Coalition's strongest military forces. He had 25 warships and a bad attitude. I don't believe the human stories, he told his officers. No species gets this powerful this fast. They must be hiding something. Admiral Seungmin had convinced the Coalition Council to let him test Earth's defenses. Just a training exercise, he had said. to make sure our new allies are as strong as they claim. On Earth, alarms were ringing in every military command center. "Sir," reported Colonel Mireille Song to General Jaewon, "we have a problem. A coalition fleet just entered our system. They're requesting a joint training exercise." General Jaewon felt his stomach drop. "How many ships?" 25. All real warships. They want to test our defensive capabilities. "We're in trouble," said Admiral Soman over the communication link. "My 12 ships can't match that kind of firepower." President Shin called an emergency meeting. All of Earth's top leaders gathered in the Situation Room. "Options?" he asked. "We could tell them the truth," suggested diplomat Sunmi. "Explain that we're not actually a military power." "Too late for that," said General Jaewon. "If we look weak now, some of their species might attack us." Captain Kyung-ho Bae was preparing his ship for the confrontation. The Earth Shield was humanity's newest warship. It was fast, well-armed, and completely outclassed by the coalition fleet. "Sir," said his weapons officer, "our ship is only 300 meters long. Their smallest vessel is twice that size." "I know," said Kyung-ho, "but we have advantages they don't know about." Dr. Jisoo An was working frantically in her laboratory. She was trying to turn civilian technology into something that looked military. "These mining lasers can cut through asteroid rock," she explained to her team. "If we modify them, they might work as weapons." "What about the cargo manipulators?" asked her assistant. "Those could work too. They're designed to move massive objects. Maybe we can use them as shields." Engineer Haeun Park was having similar thoughts. She was looking at the huge civilian ships docked around Earth. "The New Horizon is 15 kilometers long," she said to Admiral Hyunwoo. "What if we put it between our warships and theirs? Use a cargo ship as a shield? Why not? It's bigger than their entire fleet combined." Admiral Seungmin was studying Earth from his flagship. The human system was busy with ship traffic. Massive vessels moved between planets, carrying cargo and passengers. "Look at the size of those ships," he said to his officers. "If those are really civilian vessels, their warships must be enormous." "Sir, we're not detecting any obvious weapons on the large ships." "That proves nothing. They have invisible weapons technology." Captain Jiho was still patrolling in the horizon's edge. His mining ship had become famous throughout the galaxy as humanity's flagship. He found the situation amusing and terrifying at the same time. "Captain," called his communications officer, "Admiral Seungmin wants to speak with you directly." "Put him through." "Captain Park," came the alien voice. "I am Admiral Seungmin Kang, of the Coalition Third Fleet. We are here for joint training exercises." "Welcome to our system," Jiho replied. "What kind of exercises did you have in mind?" "A simple test. Your ship against mine. No actual combat, just a demonstration of capabilities." Jiho looked at his crew. The horizon's edge was 12 kilometers of mining equipment. It had almost no real weapons. "I'm honored," he said finally. "But my ship is currently undergoing maintenance. Perhaps one of our other vessels could participate." Admiral Seungmin felt suspicious. Why would the humans not want to show off their flagship? "Very well. Which ship will represent Earth?" "The Earth Shield will participate," Jiho said. "Captain Kyung-ho Bae commanding." When Admiral Seungmin saw the Earth Shield, he laughed. The human warship was tiny compared to his flagship. "That's their champion?" he asked his officers. "It's smaller than my shuttle." "Maybe it's a stealth ship," suggested his tactical officer. Very advanced technology in a small package. The test began the next day. Captain Kyung-ho faced Admiral Seungmin's flagship with his tiny warship. The rest of Earth's fleet watched from a distance. "This is crazy," muttered Admiral Seungmin. "That one coalition ship could destroy our entire military." But Engineer Hyun had a plan. As the test started, the massive cargo ship New Horizon moved into position behind the Earth's shield. To Admiral Seungmin, it looked like the humans were deploying their largest battleship. The 15-kilometer vessel dwarfed everything else in space. "Sir," said his tactical officer in a panic, "that ship is enormous. Our weapons can't penetrate something that large." "What kind of weapons does it have?" "We can't tell. No visible Weapon ports. The truth was simpler. The New Horizon was a cargo hauler. Its only weapons were a few small point defense guns for shooting space debris. Captain Kyung-ho began his attack run. Dr. Jisu's modified mining lasers fired at Admiral Seungmin's ship. The beams were designed to cut rock, not fight battles, but they looked impressive. Admiral Seungmin's shields easily stopped the attack, but he was worried about the massive ship behind the small human vessel. "Why isn't their battleship firing?" he asked. "Maybe they're holding back," suggested his weapons officer. "Testing our defenses first." Captain Kyung-ho realized his weapons weren't working. He activated Dr. Jisu's other modification, the cargo manipulators. These were designed to move asteroids, but they could also grab other ships. Invisible force fields reached out from the Earth's shield and grabbed Admiral Seungmin's flagship. The coalition ship found itself being pulled through space like a toy. "What's happening?" shouted Admiral Seungmin. "Unknown force is grabbing our ship. We can't break free." "Impossible. No tractor beam is that powerful." But the human cargo manipulators were designed to move objects weighing millions of tons. One coalition warship was nothing to them. Captain Kyung-ho pulled the enemy ship around, in circles for a few minutes, then let it go. Admiral Seungmin's crew was dizzy and confused. "Exercise complete," announced Captain Kyung-ho. "Thank you for the training opportunity." Admiral Seungmin stared at his screens in shock. The tiny human ship had played with his flagship like it was a child's toy, and their massive battleship hadn't even needed to fire a shot. "Sir," whispered his tactical officer, "if their small ships can do that, what can their big ones do?" Admiral Seungmin didn't want to find out. "Signal the fleet. We're leaving." "But sir, we just got here. Now." The coalition fleet retreated from Earth space as quickly as possible. Admiral Seungmin sent a message to Coalition Command. "Human military. Capabilities confirmed. Recommend avoiding confrontation at all costs. Their technology is beyond our understanding." Back on Earth, the human leadership was celebrating quietly. "That went better than expected," said General Jae-won. "We got lucky," replied Admiral Soman. "If they had pressed the attack, we would have been in serious trouble." Captain Kyung-ho was explaining what happened to his crew. The cargo manipulators worked perfectly. That enemy ship had no idea what hit it. "Sir?" asked his weapons officer. "What if they come back with more ships? Then we'll have to get creative again." Throughout the galaxy, news of the test spread quickly. The humans had defeated a coalition fleet without breaking a sweat. Their smallest warship had toyed with the enemy flagship. Their largest battleship hadn't even needed to participate. Fear of Earth reached new levels. Species that had been considering challenging humanity quickly changed their minds. Admiral Seungmin was demoted and transferred to a desk job. His report about human capabilities was classified at the highest levels. "Never again," ordered the coalition defense minister. "We do not challenge the humans. We keep them happy and hope they stay peaceful." On Earth, President Shin was reading reports about the galaxy's reaction. "They're more afraid of us than ever," he told his advisors. "This can't continue forever." "Maybe. It doesn't have to," suggested Engineer Haeun. "Maybe we can find a way to use this reputation for good." She was right. But first, the galaxy would face a real threat that would test everyone's assumptions about human power, and Earth would discover that sometimes the best way to keep peace is to be ready for war. 6 months after the test with Admiral Seungmin, the galaxy faced a real crisis. An ancient machine intelligence called the Devourers had awakened. They were consuming entire star systems, turning planets into raw materials for their endless expansion. The coalition was panicking. Their fleets couldn't stop the machines. Entire worlds were being destroyed every day. "We need help," Council Speaker Thek said during an emergency session. "The Devourers are too powerful for us." "What about the humans?" suggested one ambassador. "They have the strongest fleet in the galaxy." All eyes turned to Ambassador Minho Kim. He had been representing Earth for 8 months now, and he still hadn't told anyone the truth about human ships. I need to contact Earth," he said. "President." Dong-hyuk Shin received the message while sitting in his office. The coalition was asking Earth to save the galaxy from an ancient threat. "Sir," said General Jaewon, "we have a problem. They want us to fight these devourer machines. But we don't actually have the military power they think we do." "How bad is this threat?" asked the president. Scientist Mirai Song had been studying the reports. "Very bad, sir. These machines are destroying everything in their path. If they reach coalition space, billions will die. And if they keep going, they'll reach Earth eventually." President Shin made his decision. "We have to help, even if it means revealing the truth." Admiral Hyunwoo was coordinating Earth's response. For the first time in human history, the entire civilian fleet would work together on a military mission. "Listen carefully," he told the ship captains. "We're going to save the galaxy, but we're going to do it our way." Captain Jiho received his orders aboard the Horizon's Edge. His mining ship would lead the human fleet into battle against the Devourers. "Sir," said his crew chief, "we're a mining ship. How are we supposed to fight ancient war machines?" "The same way we mine asteroids," Jiho replied. "We break them into small pieces." The human fleet assembled near Earth. 57 ships of various sizes, from tiny courier vessels to massive cargo haulers. None of them were built for war, but all of them were built to last. Coalition observers watched in amazement as the humans prepared to depart. "Look at the size of their fleet," whispered one alien to another. "Those ships are enormous." "And they're not even showing their real warships," replied his companion. "These must be their support vessels." The truth was the opposite. These were all the warships Earth had. But the coalition would never believe that. The human fleet reached the war zone 3 days later. The Devourers had consumed 2 star systems and were working on a third. Their machines were everywhere, turning planets into scrap metal. "This is Captain Jiho Park," he announced to the coalition forces. "Earth fleet has arrived." The coalition admiral in charge of the battle was amazed. "Captain Park, your timing is perfect. We've lost 6 fleets trying to stop these machines." "What's your plan?" asked Jiho. "We were hoping you had one." Jiho looked at the tactical display. The Devourer machines were huge, but they were also predictable. They moved in straight lines, consuming everything in their path. "All ships," he announced, "deploy mining pattern Alpha. Treat the enemy machines like very large asteroids." What happened next shocked the galaxy. The human warships swarmed the Devourer fleet like angry insects. Mining lasers cut through machine hulls. Cargo manipulators grabbed enemy ships and threw them into each other. Construction mechs boarded the largest machines and tore them apart from the inside. The Devourers had never faced anything like it. Their weapons were designed to fight traditional warships. The human vessels were too big, too tough, and too strange. "Impossible," said one coalition observer. "They're treating the Devourers like mining targets." "Because that's what we are," muttered engineer Tae-hyun as his construction mech ripped the arm off a Devourer robot. "We're miners and builders, not soldiers." Captain Yuna was using her research ship's exotic matter systems to create gravity wells around enemy machines. The Devourers found themselves pulled into crushing gravitational fields. "This is fascinating," she told her science team. "Look how their hulls react to intense gravity. We're learning so much about exotic materials." Dr. Hayon was experimenting with her space-time manipulation technology. She discovered that small changes to local reality could cause the Devourer machines to malfunction. "I'm not trying to destroy them," she explained to her crew. "I'm just making the laws of physics work differently around them." The coalition forces watched in wonder as the humans systematically dismantled the Devourer fleet. What had seemed like an impossible task was being handled like routine maintenance work. "How are they doing this?" asked the coalition admiral. "Superior technology," replied his science officer. "Their weapons are unlike anything we've seen." But Captain Jiho knew the real secret. The human ships weren't more advanced than coalition vessels. They were just built for different purposes. Coalition ships are built to fight other ships, he explained to Ambassador Minho over a private channel. "Our ships are built to handle anything the universe can throw at us. Asteroids, radiation, gravity wells, exotic matter," added Captain Yuna. "We deal with all of that every day." The Devourers are just another workplace hazard, concluded Engineer Taehyun. Within 6 hours, the ancient threat was eliminated. The Devourer machines were reduced to scrap metal floating in space. Several worlds were saved from destruction. The coalition forces were speechless. The humans had accomplished in hours what they couldn't do in months. "How did you make it look so easy?" asked the coalition admiral. Captain Jiho considered telling the truth, but he realized something important. The galaxy needed to believe that Earth was strong, not for conquest, but for protection. "We've had a lot of practice," he said simply. Back at coalition headquarters, the reports were almost unbelievable. The humans had defeated the Devourers without losing a single ship. Their mining pattern alpha had proven more effective than any military strategy. Scientist Mireille was preparing her own report for Earth's government. She had studied the battle carefully and reached an important conclusion. "Sir," she told President Shin, "I think I understand what really happened out there." "Explain." "The coalition builds ships to fight other ships. Small, fast, efficient, but we build ships to fight the universe itself. Radiation, asteroids, gravity, hostile environments. Our civilian fleet is tougher than their military fleet because it has to be." President Shin nodded slowly. "So we didn't win because we're more advanced. We won because we're more stubborn. We build things to last forever and work anywhere." The galaxy's reaction was immediate and dramatic. Species that had been neutral asked to join the coalition. Hostile factions sued for peace. Everyone wanted to be on humanity's good side. But more importantly, smaller species began asking Earth for protection. They had seen what human civilian ships could do. They wanted that strength defending their worlds. "We're becoming the galaxy's police force," observed General Jaewon. "Whether we want to or not." "Maybe that's not such a bad thing," replied Admiral Soman. "Better us than someone who actually wants to conquer the galaxy." Captain Jiho was back on patrol in the horizon's edge. His mining ship had become the most famous vessel in known space. Other species sent delegations just to see it. "Captain," asked his communications officer, "should we tell them what we really are?" Jiho thought about it. The galaxy was more peaceful now than it had been in centuries. Small species felt protected. Aggressive factions stayed quiet, all because they thought Earth had an invincible fleet. "Not yet," he said. "Maybe someday, but not yet." Ambassador Minho was fielding requests from across the galaxy. Everyone wanted Earth's help with something. Pirates, territorial disputes, natural disasters. "We can't help everyone," he told his staff. "We're not actually the military superpower they think we are." "But maybe we don't need to be," suggested his aide. "Maybe the reputation is enough." She was right. The galaxy had entered a new age of peace. Not because of superior weapons or military might, but because everyone was afraid to upset the humans. And the humans, for their part, just kept doing what they always did. They built things. They explored space. They helped their neighbors when they could. They had no idea that their greatest strength wasn't their technology or their ships. It was the simple fact that when the galaxy needed heroes, they had stepped up to help. The truth about Earth's civilian fleet would remain secret for many years, but the peace it brought would last even longer. Sometimes the best way to keep the galaxy safe is to let everyone think you're too dangerous to fight. And sometimes that reputation becomes reality when it matters most.